everybody. How are you doing today? This is Melanie with Lost and Found. You are getting a sneak peek into my own kitchen today, and I'm going to ask you guys not to judge me because it is not super clean. So you're going to see it actually how it is. I don't think you can see it in the shot. I'm making bread over here, and my kitchen sink is full of stuff. My microwave is beeping at me because I just heated up some coffee, which I'm going to drink while we're talking today. So, but the reason I'm here with you today is I wanted to talk some about painting cabinetry. I get a ton of questions about painting cabinets, like 5 to 10 a week. Lots and lots of questions about painting cabinets. And I have painted 4 or 5 sets of cabinets now using 2 different kinds of paint. So I want to show you in my own home how they turned out and talk about the different paints that I used and the different process for the paints, and let you get an idea of kind of what your options are. So first is my actual wall cabinetry. Can you see? There we go. These are white. These cabinets, my uppers and lowers, were painted in a paint from Benjamin Moore, and it's called Benjamin Moore Advance. And I did a lot of research trying to figure out what kind of paint I wanted to use, and I went with this paint on these cabinets for a couple reasons. One, it is a water-based paint, so it's easy to clean up. Y'all, I hate working with oil-based stuff. I will avoid it at all costs. So a lot of times cabinets are done in oil. I didn't want to do that. I hate cleaning that stuff up. So I wanted to use a water-based paint, and this Benjamin Moore Advanced is water-based, but the sneak is it works like an oil. It smooths out and levels out like an oil. So it's great for when you're wanting to get a really smooth finish. So another reason why I decided to use this paint instead of, you may be wondering, since I talk all the time about Fusion Mineral Paint, why I didn't use it. One, when I started painting my cabinets, which was like over 3 years ago, it took me a long time. Fusion did not exist at that point. And 2, I wanted these cabinets to have a little bit of a gloss to them because I have some woodwork in my kitchen, some beadboarding that is painted in a semi-gloss white, and I wanted my cabinets to have a semi-gloss finish. So with the Benjamin Moore Advance, you can mix whatever finish you want. If you want high gloss, if you want semi-gloss, if you want eggshell. I wanted semi-gloss, and I was able to pick that. You can also pick any color that you want. You can mix any color you want, okay? So here's the process that I did for my white cabinets. And you guys, I did these in stages. Like if you're gonna do your cabinets, unless you have no kids at home and a ton of time, do not expect to get it done in a weekend. It took me, I think it literally took me at least 18 months, and I would work in little chunks. Like I would work on a chunk at a time. So, hey Amy, thanks for coming in today. My friend Amy is joining us. So maybe you're gonna paint your cabinets, Amy. We can talk some more about that. Anyway, give yourself a lot of grace. This is not a project you have to complete overnight. So here's what you do if you're using the Benjamin Moore. First step, you gotta clean. You gotta clean those cabinets really, really well. And I mean, you've got to scrape all that accumulated grease and dirt off of there. You want to use a degreasing cleaner. TSP is a good one, although you do need to wear gloves. You got to do it outside. You can get that from Home Depot. If you want something that's less toxic or that's non-toxic, you can go with Simple Green. I like to use Simple Green. I use it all the time. But really, you're just going to be scrubbing. Just prepare. You want to scrub and you want to get all of that dirt off, okay? So I took the doors off. I cleaned them really good. Then I did take my power sander, my little hand mouse sander, and I power sanded the boxes and the frames. So on these cabinets, like my actual doors, you can see this one. My actual doors are wood. This right here is wood. The side that's right here is not wood, okay? So these are your standard builder grade white, or excuse me, they are white now. They were the honey oak cabinets. That's probably, if you've got a builder grade house, yours are probably about the same. So on the sides where it's not real wood, sand those much more gently because you might sand off some of that MDF. But the places where it's wood, I sanded it really good. And so then after I cleaned and I sanded, I applied a base coat of Kilts using a roller. I used a brush to go around the details, brushed first, and then I rolled. And you're gonna roll in the direction of the grain, okay? And after the base coat of Kilts, I fine sanded with some, I think 320 grit sandpaper. And then I did the same process with, starting with the Benjamin Moore Advance. And it took me 3 coats of that, letting it have good long period of dry time in between, 6 to 8 hours, sanding them in between. And so 3 coats of the Benjamin Moore, 4 coats total counting the primer. There's a little bit more that goes into, you know, that process that I just can't really delve in quite in this live video. I talk about it more on a post that I've written that I'm going to be sure and go back and link into this that you can see. But I tell people all the time, painting cabinets isn't hard, but it's not easy either. It just takes time, and you do want to be careful with the paint, and you want to use the right tools to get the paint on, and you want to work with a good kind of paint. So 4 coats. I didn't have to put any sort of top coat on it. Oh, can you guys, my husband just messaged me. I don't know if you could see that when it popped up on the screen. I forgot to turn on my do not disturb. Yes, so that was the plan for those, and then they didn't need a top coat. And I will tell you, they have worn really, really well. I have a few places on some of the drawers where they've chipped just a tiny bit. But for the most part, I can wipe them down. They stain clean. You know, they've been painted for a couple years now. They've done really well for me, and I was really happy with that process. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna pick you up, and I'm sorry if we're gonna get shaky, but I want to show you now. And I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna show you my kitchen island. We're down on the ground. Okay, so my kitchen island is painted with different paint. It is actually painted with Fusion mineral paint. Let me give a little scan here, okay? Now, the reason I used Fusion for this, well, Fusion was first, it was in existence when I started my makeover on my island. And second, I wanted to create a distressed finish and a really antiqued finish on my island. My island looks totally different than the rest of these cabinets. And that's hard to do with the latex paint. It was gonna work a lot better with this. I'm gonna switch around, go this way. So as I talk about my island, you can see it, okay? If I get closer, you can see right here, oh, and I'm so embarrassed, it's a little dirty. But here is this layered finish that I talked about. This right here is, I think some egg yolk got stuck in a little bit. This right here, y'all, is the one place where I've had some paint come off on this whole thing. So here's the process for the Fusion. You clean, just like you do the other ones. You can sand a little bit less. I did not use a power sander. I used just a hand sander. I skipped the primer. You do not have to use primer. So I could skip the Kilts, which is great because Kilts is smelly and it's kind of a pain to work with. I skipped that. On the sides here, where it's not, again, where it wasn't real wood, I used a base coat of a product called Fusion Ultra Grip. And that was the only additional step. Then I painted on my paint. I did do like a layered finish that I can talk about in another video with you guys. Again, I've talked about that a lot more on the blog, and you can look at that. But just like with the other, the Benjamin Moore paint, this has no top coat. I didn't put anything on it. And it has worn extremely well. It's done extremely well for me too. Again, there's this one little spot where it chipped, and I think something just got dried and I kind of picked at it and it flaked off. But you guys know I've got 3 kids. They sit over there on the other side. They kind of kick it, and it's worn really well. It's been fine. There's not any other place where I'm having problems with it. So to turn back around, set you back up here. All right, so what is the moral of the story here? Okay, the moral of the story is there's multiple kinds of paint you can use to paint your cabinets. If you want to have something that is a little bit more just baseline DIY friendly, then Fusion is a fantastic option. You really can paint your cabinets with Fusion and skip adding a top coat. Okay, you can also skip having to work with primer if you use Fusion. So It's easy. I used a brush for all of that. I didn't even use a roller. It's a really easy paint to work with. It's probably not going to give you your super sleek, shiny, factory finish look though on your cabinets. And so if you are really stuck on, you want your cabinets to look like somebody came in with a sprayer and they're fresh off the factory floor and they look brand new, Fusion may not be the place for you to go. But I'm going to tell you, if you're going for that look, you're going to have a higher skill level to get that look. I hope that makes sense. You don't just get smooth paint easily. It takes work to get there. But if you want, a super smooth finish, if you want something that's a little bit more gloss, Fusion is not very glossy. If you want something with a little bit higher gloss, then you may want to go with the Benjamin Moore Advance. Cost-wise, honestly, they were about a wash. With the Benjamin Moore, I didn't have to buy a kilt. I had to buy some rollers. With the Fusion, I didn't have to buy any of that. Cost-wise, it about levels out. So it's really, what the look that you're going for, your DIY skill level. If this is the first time you've ever painted cabinets or painted anything, then you kind of want to think about using the easiest paint that you can use, and really what you want them to look like in the end. So after I get done with this, I'm going to link a post that I wrote on my blog that walks through this whole process and gives you even more details about the paints that I used. But just wanted to spend some time kind of talking about it today. So if you're watching this and you have any questions, you can leave those in the comment section and I will do my best to go back and answer them later. And I appreciate you guys joining me in my kitchen for a few minutes today. I can smell my bread over there that I'm making. Isn't that awesome? That's just the best smell. If you were here, I would share some with you. Amy, you are here. You can come by and have some bread, fresh made bread with me. But always appreciate you guys joining me for a live. If you enjoyed this, please hit that little share button and pass it on. If you have some friends that want to paint cabinets, send them to here and let's start talking about it. Seems like everybody starts with their cabinet painting projects after Christmas in January. That's when I get lots of cabinet requests. So that's it for me today. Hope everybody has a great day and I'll see you again soon. Bye.